Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joan Thomas from the American Public Gardens Association, and welcome to our Setting Up Your My Garden campaign, part 2 of 3 of a webinar series talking about our new My Garden campaign in conjunction with National Public Gardens Week. I just want to do a quick housekeeping point. One is we are using the questions window for people to ask questions throughout, and we'll be stopping periodically throughout this presentation to take questions, field those. I just want to make sure that the audio is up and working. If someone would just write confirmation in the question box so that I know that this audio is being heard, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much, Caroline. And we are muting people just because of ambient noise that happens. There's always a dog barking or whatnot. And this will keep the audio very clean for everybody. So please do write in the questions. And also if you need to chat to me offline, you can do that as well. With me today is Corey Blake from MobileCause. And he's going to be partnering with me as we go through this presentation. So say hi, Corey.
Hello, how are you?
Great. Corey's been great in having us navigate through the setup of the page and training me along the way with the crowdfunding platform, which has been a very great experience for us as the association to use this this product that we have to provide membership benefits for all of you in new and exciting ways. So this is part 2, and what I just want to do is do the overview of parts 1, 2, and 3. Some of you have signed up for all 3. Some of you are coming in now, and you can do catch up on My Garden on part 1. It's very useful to go back and look at a couple of reference links and other things. So that is available in the Library and Media Center. Also coming up March 20th is Making the Most of My Garden, and it's essentially creative ways to use your site, use your links, market and promote. And this will be coming out after our toolkit is made live in the National Public Gardens Week site on our website. That includes materials. Setting up my garden campaign today, just so that you know who I am, and I'm Director of External Relations, and I've been here for about 2.5 years at the association. And Corey Blake, who is helping us all with the My Garden campaign to make sure that all of you can set up the pages and the messaging the way you'd like to, and we're going to get into those details today. To overview today's topics, the team captains, and sign up. If you have not already signed up for this page, this is a really brief primer on what to expect when you go through that. We're presuming that you are interested enough to begin to explore the site, and this is where we're going to take you through today. Mostly static pages through the PowerPoint. I also wanted this to be a webinar that provides a good reference material for you to go back after this session to review. But also it's very helpful if you have a second monitor and if you've already logged in to go through and walk through it. It really trains you to navigate yourself through the site. Second of all, we're going to be talking about building your page, and third, creative ideas using the crowdfunding platform. So let's get started. For step 1, if you have not already taken the first step to say, yeah, let me join up and see what this is all about, this is the link to sign up, and it's been sent out, I think, a few other times, but you can jot it down. This isn't a live link, but you can certainly go back and do that. This is really the first sign-up page. The first thing you want to do is sign up personally. But you are going to be essentially the team captain that signs up your garden. So the first prompt, though, is to set up a couple of basic bits of information. And what you do then is you will get an email confirmation from MobileCause that confirms that you've taken action, and we've just sort of automatically activated that on our back end, so you are not waiting for me to verify a lot of things. You can get up and going right away. Some of the early people who signed up said that they hadn't gotten an email from MobileCause, and when we investigated that, we realized this was because it had been caught in their spam folder or quarantine folder. So just be sure. You should be getting an auto reply, but if not, go in there, see if it's there, and make sure that you are approving it as an approved sender, because as you go through the campaign, you're going to be getting notifications about people who are making donations to your campaigns. So you want to be able to get those messages. Once you are signed up, you join or create a team, and this is your opportunity to create your garden, name your garden, and add that. When you do that, I get notified on the back end, and then I start taking some action on the back end to include your garden in the pull-down menu, which we'll get to in a minute. But I will be the administrator on the back end that is seeing all of this activity come through the portal in MobileCause, and what I will be doing is just making sure that all the connections are going well on this end. Once you sign up, if you're the primary person and team captain, let's assume that the first person who signs up is you get that role assigned to you, and you can then move forward and create your team name. And also you can upload a team picture, and you get prompts to do some other things. When you are the team captain, your team page is replacing your personal page. What that also means is that the keyword that you get assigned to you is also going to be the team's keyword. So I wouldn't get hung up on the permutations of that, except to say if you have other people on the crowdfunding platform, they get a unique keyword that is like MYGARDEN with a number after it. But if people would take action and use that keyword, they're going to be still tied to your garden, so your garden is still going to be credited with those gifts. A few ground rules for team captains. What that means, this is basically the nomenclature that the MobileCause uses here. Only one person from your garden serves as a team captain. You can, in the course of the next few months, say you're the one that's making the decision about whether or not you're going to be using this for a campaign. But say you have someone else on your team that you want to give them team captain rights so that they can go and edit, put in messaging, upload images. You can reassign that team captain role. It just needs to kind of come through me so we can switch the roles on the back end. But only one person from your team at a time has team captain rights. And that's essentially what this slide is. So that is that team captain at the time of the campaign go live also gets the notifications when someone is using that keyword for your garden to make the gift. So that's an important thing for you to know, because we had some people earlier say, I want to know every time my garden gets a gift. Well, your team captain will, if it's using your garden team keyword. All right, so building your team page. Again, going back to the screen, we are showing, and some of these screen grabs are from actual gardens in process of building their pages. So I've been trying to stay up on top of it. We've had a lot of gardens since our advanced screening a few weeks ago sign up since then, and they've done a really good job, and some are still in the works. So this is just screen grabs for works in progress, with also some timely tips for setting up a very effective page. On your team page, you can go ahead and set up your team image, which in this case is, most cases, it's a logo. So you'll see that here, Florida Botanic put their logo here. The default fundraising goal, you see there's an asterisk. You have to put a goal in. The default ones that I have set up on the back end please do change those. I don't want to impose any goal on any one of your gardens. So $5,000 is the default. One thing about images that we're going to talk a little bit about here, but then we also have some toolkit reference materials for you, is that certain areas in MobileCause where the images are uploaded have a bit of sensitivity to formatting. The team image is one of those areas, and the logo has, if you're entering a logo, it can be very wonky. If you have just a horizontal one, it's not going to format very correctly, and things tend to drop out. It doesn't auto format. It likes square, ideally. So if you have a logo version in stacked format, that might work a little better, and also image size. And I'm not ratting out Florida Botanic. It just happened to be one example of a logo that needs to be formatted a little bit differently, or the sizing or shape needs to be altered a little bit. Corey, if you had, we had talked a little bit about MobileCause's ability to help with that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. It's pretty easy. I mean, basically what I do is take that image and just add to the canvas size so that it's a perfect square, and then just re-upload it. And I'm happy to do that if anybody's having trouble getting it to fit right.
Great. All right. We also have, there's a resource on image specs from MobileCause that I've downloaded and can make available that also gives some tips about other images and uploading. This is not rocket science. You don't have to be a graphic designer to do these things. You just have to be mindful when you're selecting images. You do want to keep testing how they're looking after the upload and make adjustments accordingly. So again, these are default, this is default copy that is in here, and I really need everyone, in fact, to make it your message and make it your goal. This is simply copy that gives you an overview of very generic boilerplate copy. But you need to go further than just say my garden is, and you can simply, you can default to saying, hey, we're part of my garden, help support our garden, keep it very, very generic. But this is also your message to say, this is our garden and we're raising money for something very important. You can talk about something very specific if you want, or keep it very general. So this session is really designed to give you a lot of ideas to think about how you want to perhaps maximize your ability to raise funds and capture people's imaginations during this week. Here's some tips on fine-tuning the team page that show you some of the work that's in progress. The 9 images that you see on this media carousel, that is a default photo that we, the association, have put in that you, in designing your team page, probably need to replace with your own images. Also with that is this copy. This copy, unfortunately, because it's on a universal platform for crowdfunding that is part of the MYGARDEN architecture, this message had to be a universal message. So unfortunately for your team page, this has to stay as it is. You can't make edits to it as an individual team within the structure. If this was your platform and your campaign that you were running completely, you could do whatever you wanted to do that. So that's why making this page is really important, to try to brand it as much as you can with your logo and your images. So one thing I would recommend is as you're loading the media carousel with some images of your garden, I know that one or more gardens have taken that initiative, and you'll see this later in the presentation, to take one of their images and actually kind of, before they upload it, put their logo or copy as an overlay on the image itself, and then upload it so that their logo appears with the image, which I felt was a very immediate this is the garden, and this is who we are. And then there's some general ratio images. Obviously, it likes the landscape format much more than the portrait. Some other things here. On this screen, there's two buttons, make a donation, and then there's one that you do not see called join a team, which for purposes of, because of my login, that button doesn't appear, but for you, those buttons are going to be an option for people landing on your page. Obviously, we give people the opportunity to click and give. You can see that the keyword MyGarden17 is very specific. This is UC Santa Cruz's page, so that's their keyword. And again, they're just beginning to build their page. So right now, their message is fairly generic, and they're still working on that. Again, to go back to what it looks like when you can put your, if you can do an overlay of your logo on a photo, it makes it very effective, and it looks immediately like your garden. The media carousel, for purposes of being a team that works underneath this crowdfunding platform, right now you can only load images onto the media carousel. If I, as the National Public Gardens Week, had a wonderful montage video, I could load that in as a default, but then it would show up on every team's page. But the antidote to that is that we can give you the opportunity to upload video in your Our Story section. Corey, did you want to mention that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's great. So basically what you would do is upload a video to YouTube or Vimeo, and then with that URL, you can edit that Our Story section there. And again, if you're having trouble with it, I'm happy to help. But it should, it's fairly straightforward. You just basically drop that URL into there. There's a little Add Media button when you're editing that section, and then you basically can place it wherever you want in that area.
Great, and we will have a few slides that show a little bit more about how the content of that Our Story area has been utilized in past campaigns or example campaigns. In this case, Michelle Conklin, who's their ED, has done a very personal message. You'll see another example of that here in the presentation, but I thought that was a very compelling way to add a personal touch point to your team's messaging. So think about giving an actual face to the campaign and a personal message. This is just a little bit of repetition here, but I'm still on Michelle's page as a fundraiser because she is right now kind of, she had a keyword assigned. She used to be team captain, but now she has someone on her team being team captain. But here's her unique keyword. If someone had made a gift to her via MyGarden9, it would still be traced back. She could text that, get a link to give, go through the donation process, and make the gift. So we'll get to that in a minute. But this just shows you that individual fundraisers that may be raising funds on your behalf get assigned a unique keyword. If you are setting up some things where you've got multiple people helping you raise money, these same images will appear on each of those fundraiser pages because you're setting up your garden team, and these are universal to your team images. Again, I just mentioned that these buttons tie back, will be able to tie back to your garden. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like for the donor when they interact with you by taking action, this image does not include, for example, when someone is texting My Garden, you're not seeing the keyword there. That's simply because this is an example on the back end that provides just a universal picture for me to see how pages are shaping up. So if they are typing MyGarden 17, MyGarden 47 to 71777, because that is the number, that is the short code that we are all using for MyGarden. The donor to be gets a message to link to the pledge form. Just a point of clarification for me as well. This isn't a text to give platform. They're not automatically pledging, but they are taking activation to go to their pledge form and actually fill out information and select their gift amount. So that's the difference kind of between the text to give platform and a crowdfunding platform. So in this case, we have set up the action that the donor takes is to get the link to go to the pledge form. And then they'll go to the pledge form. There they go. They'll fill out the form, and that scrolls down. They can fill out some basic information. And then they automatically get generated this confirmation message confirming that the transaction went through, and that they also are going to be getting an email receipt generated from the association for tax purposes. It has all of the copy for that receipt is actually embedded on a slide on part 1 of the All About My Garden campaign. So if you need to refer to what that is, it's part of that first presentation. So in terms of acknowledging the donor, we are making sure that they have immediate acknowledgement for that. You will be getting a CSV file of all of the data that the donor has put in, with the exception of the full credit card number. So that can be part of your final database reconciliation for you. And they're really kind of your donors to steward beyond this campaign. And we have pledged to try to reconcile all of this and send you that list by the end of May. However, you can take action if someone is making a gift using your keyword for your garden, and you're getting a notification, hey, so-and-so made a $500 gift. Here's their name, here's their amount, and here's their email. You can take action if you want to get ahead of them, and provide, say, immediate phone call to thank them. So it gives you the power to steward that more expediently than doing something on the back end several weeks later. On the desktop donation page, this is just how the experience looks if you're driving people to, say, a PC, some other mobile site. There's a format also for a tablet. That looks a lot like this. When you sign up and you sign up your team, the one thing I have to do manually is populate this pull-down menu, which, it's not quite, it's sort of a fail-safe for us, but for more importantly, I want the donor to know that they are giving to you, because when you're landing on this donation page, I don't want the donor to get confused and to say, wait a minute, who's the association? What is this? What is my garden? And I don't see my garden here anymore. And I want to make sure that they follow through and they complete a gift. So I want to make sure that they go through the motion of saying, yes, I want to choose this garden to have my gift go to. So as I'm seeing people sign up in MobileCause, I'm going ahead and populating that. So if you signed up and you don't happen to see your garden here, this was a screen grab from about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't updated that since. So there's a few of you that are missing. We have about 21 right now in the queue. I went through fairly quickly. The best advice I can give you is as you are exploring this, to try to navigate through and really become familiar with with all the buttons and everything you can do. But at this point, I will stop and see if anyone has any questions. So please type in the question in the question box, and I will be monitoring that, and Corey can also jump in as well. Okay, I will continue to monitor this. Okay, here we go. Is the only link for payment the link that goes to the page with the drop-down menu? When people get to that donation page, they have gotten through it because you have given them a link, or they have used your keyword. That is the pathway by which their gift is being connected to you. The links that are going through a merchant portal, through MobileCause, our donation page is giving two options for payment, which is they can go through the our merchant processing arrangement with MobileCause, plus the association also has a PayPal. And we found last summer when we did the Garden Scholar campaign that a lot of people had their own PayPal account, and we found that it was even more expedient for them to go through that. So all gifts are going to be flowing through the association portal via one of two ways. If you wish to create a follow-up question to that, if I did not answer that fully, please let me know. Can we customize the keyword associate with our garden? Unfortunately, no. If you were the owner of this contract and you wanted to set up your campaign, you could customize a keyword for the campaign. For this campaign, because of the architecture that we're working under for MyGarden, I have you cannot. I believe the number is assigned by MobileCause in the order in which people are signing up. So unfortunately, that can't be customized for purposes of this campaign. Also, can there be a direct link to our individual page? Yes. Corey, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. When you sign up and create a team, basically the garden page, your garden page, you're going to have a URL assigned automatically based on the name that you give the garden page, or the team page. And so, yeah, right when you start creating it, you'll have that link that you can share, and that can be shareable. There's social media sharing in the top right corner if you're on the desktop version, Facebook, Twitter, email. If you're on your phone, it's going to be along the bottom, and there'll be a texting option as well. And if anybody, including yourself, uses those ways to share the page, it'll share that link. The page basically that you're on that you want to share, you would just click in that little social media settings section, and it'll share out the direct link right to your page. And if they text your keyword, that's another way for them to get your link too.
Great. And there had been a question that was asked. Oh, my screen's getting a little wonky. About social media, Facebook and Twitter, and if they could link to that if we give you the URL.
Yeah, those icons in the top right there, our system just automatically generates the link that so yeah, if we're on MyGarden 9 right now, and then if I click on that Facebook icon, it's going to share the link to the MyGarden 9, like that garden's page, to Facebook. So if I'm the person clicking Facebook, it's going to open up my personal Facebook account, and so that I will be posting onto my wall, my timeline, for all my friends to see me sharing a link back to the MyGarden 9 page.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. I am working from home because we had a very big snowstorm today, and I have had to jerry-rig a dual monitor system, so my computers are not talking very well with each other. If you're seeing some wonkiness on your screen, that may be why. I will continue with a question. Will you be discussing how to promote and share the My Garden page? Yes, a lot of that will be covered in part 3. I know that Corey mentioned some of those links and how to get that word out. And we will also be providing collateral like images and templates for you to use on site and in other ways. And then we have a question, does a garden receive the full donation amount? So to recap, the participation in My Garden campaign for gardens involves a willingness to enable the association to retain the donor, to be able to cover its merchant processing fee, which is at 2.5%. And then 10% of proceeds. So when a donor makes a gift of $100, they're going to be offered the opportunity to give $102.50 to support the $102.56, excuse me, to support the campaign, the processing fee, and they can opt out of that if they want. So when, let's say they do, they'll make a gift of $102.56, and we'll process that. They're going to be getting a tax receipt for $102.56, which is their full deductible amount. When we do our final reconciliation, the association will retain the $2.56 to cover processing, and then $10 for the donation. So your proceeds would be $90 out of that $102. That's essentially the cost of doing business and allowing us the opportunity to cover our administrative costs before, during, and after to support us providing you this benefit. But the donor will get acknowledged for the full amount of that donation. Okay, so I am going to move on to part 3, but I've been trying to make sure that I have my site set up for a minute. If you can bear with me, I'm going to switch screens and see if I can do this so that some things will continue to be forwarded. My screen froze up. That's why I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty here. Okay. Almost there. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. Hopefully you should be able to see at least the slide presentation as you're seeing here. And I am trying to get it to be at full size. All right, so you're going to be seeing some things on the side as well, so I don't. There we go. You can see your questions there. All right, so this section is about 6 ways to use the fundraisers function creatively or not. This is the crowdfunding platform that we mentioned that we are offering gardens to do. You can keep it very simple, or you can get a little creative. And we want to just give you some ideas here on how to think about what message you'd like to put out for potential donors to respond to your message of support. So the first way to use the crowdfunding platform is to just have one message, one fundraiser, one story. And this can be a very simple, heartfelt thing, and just have one keyword, keep it simple. And it's totally in your purview to do that. The other way, another way to do it is to use the crowdfunding platform in a peer-to-peer, a very traditional way, where and you've seen this happen. You've seen this a lot on GoFundMe and whatnot, or especially when there's a race and people are running or walking for charity. You'll see everyone kind of set up. This is a school, and they're setting up individual goals to support their school's campaign. So this could be something that maybe you have a structure for that you think would work for you. It could be volunteers, all supporting different parts of your garden that they like, and their story. Because as you know, as storytellers, that can this is your opportunity to tell different facets of your garden story, or members, or staff, or board. You can engage the community in general to sign up. Maybe there's an incentive for those who are hitting their goal or exceeding their goal. How participatory would you like to make that? And that is completely up to you. A riff on the peer-to-peer, which is something that you've seen perhaps in your community, is when they use the platform to have each of the slots be something that a celebrity fundraiser will help support for you. So they will then share their links and get their communities involved in supporting you. So in this case, it's local chefs supporting a local charity, and that might work for you. Another option is to use the Our Story section of your tab to create giving levels. And Corey, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Yeah, these is something we can add to your to that story section where we have these buttons. And so when you normally land on the donation form, it's been set to have certain levels. There's some buttons along the top that suggest certain levels, and then there's a default that just will automatically load in. And the donor, of course, can enter any amount they want to give, but they're sort of guided in certain levels. If the way you're running your campaign, you have certain donation sizes that equal something, reward levels, as you see here. Maybe there's something that they get back in exchange for a gift, for a donation, or maybe just by giving at a certain level, it's going to result in something. And so either way, we can basically configure these buttons so that when they click on it, the form is going to load with the amount that they clicked on from your page. And so if you're interested in doing this, I would say in your story section, write out the levels, just the dry text of, $25. If you want to give it a little nickname like you see here, you can. And then the description of what that gives. And then I can go in after you and build the code. There's a little code I have to put around it to make it look like buttons like that and make it present the form the way we want it to at that right level. And so I'm happy to, if you want to reach out to Joan, and Joan will just let me know, okay, go to this garden and set them up, and I can go do that. That's kind of a fun way to give these little thresholds for people.
Great. I was happy to see that, since I know that many platforms for crowdfunding offer that opportunity to do premium. So I was happy to see a creative way of being able to incorporate that into our campaign to make that happen. So another way to use crowdfunding is to think about the elements of a program that you have at your garden. It could be conservation, collections, horticultural, native habitat preservation. I mean, it can really go from there. But to use each slot, each fundraiser slot, not necessarily as a person raising money, but as an area of support or focus that a donor really could gravitate to emotionally, and make a responsive gift to. So two of the things I've found, and some of this came from MobileCause's webinar series that they have on crowdfunding, where they were doing a special webinar on different crowdfunding campaigns. One is to support a humane society. These are adoption fees that were set up for each of these dogs, and it told each one's story, and I thought that was very compelling. And there was another platform that was using parts oak and ash and elm. So I know for arboreta or for gardens that have collections, these might be something that you want to maybe focus on. And as I was mentioning earlier in the first session for National Public Gardens Week, we're hoping to really focus a lot of the messaging on resilience, and whether that's building personal resilience or community resilience or planetary resilience. We'd love to have gardens message their activity and their observation of National Public Gardens Week, perhaps to illustrate how public gardens build resilience. Now that's the high concept, and how you want to translate that into, please come to our garden and enjoy the many things that we have to offer. That's up to you. But we hope that when we go public in May, on the website for National Public Gardens Week, and you sign up your garden, and you let us know what promotion you're doing, or series of promotions during that full week now, from May 13 to May 19, that you think about what those are. Because we would love to tie that in, turn around, and showcase from a national standpoint how our gardens are demonstrating that. There's also the opportunity, and you see this, I say, with the Dancing with the Stars as a great opportunity. Each couple that is participating signs up, and you essentially use the Fundraisers tabs as ways to vote for a couple, and they set a goal and you're voting. So there might be opportunities for your garden to set up things for people to vote on with their gift. So it's just really all in packaging and thinking about how you feel that your community will respond. So those are 6 quick ways of thinking about your crowdfunding platform. If many of you are just at the point where I just have to navigate through this and think about the team page and just the basics, if you do just that, you're doing great. And it's our hope that a lot of you will follow through and actually go live with a campaign during that week. You can promote it, but most of the gifts are going to be really, we don't want anyone to come out of the gate too early. We want our messaging to be kind of universal with our fundraising. So we want to give you the tools as much as possible up front to get people ready to be ready to give. to you. So we will provide materials as needed to have you generate whatever you would like to do in conjunction with that week's observance and the campaign itself. And we'll be exploring more of those in webinar 3, which is coming up about a month from now. And all of these webinars are going to be available on our National Public Gardens Week page on our website under Programs tab. Corey is available for tech help. It really needs to kind of start with me to help you facilitate the creation of your page. I can help in many ways and troubleshoot a lot of things with you personally, and then there are things that only Corey the Wizard will be able to work with you. So does anyone have questions about the basics that we've covered today? Has anyone been on their page that has encountered difficulty or questions? If you are thinking about being part of this and you're not sure if you're going to sign up, I would love to know some of those reasons why. And it's actually quite fine. I've had a few gardens say, well, we have our own platform, or we're part of a community giving campaign, and and some actually have their own mobile fundraising solution. And I said, that's totally fine. And if you want to do a campaign in conjunction with this, that's great. I'd love to know your goals so that we can actually at least have an idea of how much gardens around the country are trying to raise that week. I can't tie it into the final thermometer goal, but I want you to be part of the story if you can. Actually, to the question, are you sending this PowerPoint to us? I actually attached this to the handouts part of your tab here. So you actually have the handout here. There it is, PDF, without my lovely audio. So maybe that's a better thing. But it is a reference, and it is something that you can send out at the end. You can get the link to the audio recording in our library after this. Does the page stay up after Public Gardens Week with links? I'm not sure what that question means. I know that the campaign itself is scheduled to just run through May 19th. So we want all gardens to be able to have equal opportunity to continue to raise funds during a particular time frame. But we want to be able to publish progress during that week, and we want to be able to publish results after that on National Public Gardens Week site. Working for reasons of we haven't made a decision yet, and why. We're working to get buy-in from directors. I think this is a wonderful tool. Thank you, Caroline. One of the things I was really hoping is, as we evolve National Public Gardens Day to National Public Gardens Week and introduce the My Garden campaign, it was my goal to integrate the conversation, which up until now, I wasn't sure whether it was just the events people at your garden who was just putting this on the calendar and working with some other programming people to say, okay, what are we going to do? And that we could maybe have a more enriched conversation among different departments about how to maximize National Public Gardens Week, and now the opportunity to raise money during that week, if that's an appeal to you. I think this is a good first year to experiment and see where we go with that. Can I send the link to the My Garden setup page? Yes. Oh, my computers. There you go. Is that the page? Okay. Does anyone have any other comments or concerns, questions? I will give you one more suggestion, and that is you can sign up as a team captain. You can explore this site, get a feel for it, and it's a good test drive whether or not you actually go forward with the campaign. You might decide later this isn't for you, or it's freaking me out and I can't deal with that right now, or something else changes. But I'd love for you, at the very least, to test drive the opportunity to explore what mobile fundraising can be. Again, you're not necessarily getting all of the functionality you might have if you have your own program, but the only thing I would want to know is if you don't end up doing a campaign, to just let me know, because right now you'd be in the queue, and I don't want to kind of put it out there if you're not going to be doing the campaign. But there's no obligation to kind of sign up and explore. It's just a good experience, and we hope a lot of gardens take advantage of it. After National Public Gardens Week, the page goes away. The links are live. As long as the links are out there, I don't think, Corey, there's a way to actually disengage. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. The sort of the way our software works is once you create the page, it's live. It's just, are you promoting it or not? And then once the campaign is over, yeah, it still exists. There's a way for us to sort of disable it and shut it down, but it's rare that people actually want that to happen. We can always edit it as well to sort of more of like a thank you, like, hey, this is how it went, and it's now over, but we hope you had a great time, and this is how much we raised, and that sort of thing. So I think a better experience for somebody, like if I'm a donor and I missed the week, I was vacationing or something, and I come back and then I click on an email and I go look at it. At least I don't get a dead link. I land somewhere and I can check it out. And so yeah, the pages are still going to be live.
They are. What we have the ability to do on the back end is to say, hey, when people take action, where do I want to send them? Because sometimes we have had opportunity where I think where we use this platform, for those of you, and I hope you never get to use this, unfortunately, but the first rollout we had of this was for the Garden to Garden Disaster Response Fund, which we were experimenting since Cape Fear went through Hurricane Irma. We reached out to them and offered them the opportunity to do a crowdfunding, to do a real flash campaign, and we really helped set their page up. And the link was just up for a while, and they were pushing it out on their social media, and we didn't have an end date for that because it was as long as they needed it. But the first thing they needed was a volunteer sign-up sheet. So we actually did it on the back end so that when people first signed up, they could go to that sign-up form. And then we kind of flipped it, and then they were in donation mode. So what I mean to say is that after May 19th, the messaging might change when people land there, but we might keep the donor portal up. But we as the association really want to reconcile and wrap things up by May 31, because it's awkward when we have to go into June and continue to try to close and reconcile our gardens. Plus, we're getting in a conference time, so all of our staff is just, in countdown mode for that. So that's kind of the answer to the logistics of how this works. Is the key word is live. The moment you sign up, when you get your keyword assigned to you. So. Okay, so I want to be mindful of the time. We have about 4 minutes left, but if anyone has any other questions, I'm monitoring this, and we'll make the link available to you as a follow-up, and also let you know when the recording is available. You'll get a YouTube link, I believe. Donations, yes, they can be made through the page after campaign week. We just want all gardens to kind of be fair and play equally, and try to run their campaign so that the promotion actually is between May 13 and 19. So it's kind of how we want to leave that. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your questions. I know that as you get into this process a little bit more, it's not that difficult to figure out. It can be kind of creative, and you may not have your message now, but you have until your May go live to really finesse it. But we hope that you take the time to think about a very creative and effective way for you to raise funds, whether it's supplementing a campaign you're doing now or something very special. Crowdfunding and urgency and message and specificity can really work in your favor. So I hope to hear and see some great things on the back end, and please reach out to me for any questions that you have at jthomas@publicgardens.org. I'm happy to do that. I will be doing a presentation on this in a concentrated way next Thursday at the Development and Membership Symposium in Atlanta, which also will include an overview on benchmarking. But I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's story and to hear about everyone's experience doing this. So thank you all for your participation, and I look forward to hearing hearing some of you again on webinar 3, because I know a lot of you have signed up for all of them. Thank you all, and have a great afternoon.